And Matt, this is the grand final for the Touring Car Masters category. What a place to have it. And there's a championship on the line here, but it's not quite as... It's a bit more clean cut. We'll cover that in just a sec. Track map, 3.42 kilometres. A lot of these cars in their heyday wouldn't have known what a street track was.
Well, no, actually, the only time they got close to something like that was over in New Zealand at Wellington, but that was about the only one that they ever had.
It's 13 corners in total, 3.4 kilometres. And these cars have really turned it on this weekend. There's championships on the line in 3 groups. Group 2 is already sorted. The man we're looking at there, Jim Richards, will start in the front row alongside Gavin Bullis, and he needs to just finish this race to seal the championship. John Bowe and Andrew Medicki on the second row. But the guy who starred for me this weekend, or 2 guys, Bernie Stack and Cameron Tilley, they're in a Porsche and in a Valiant, and they're on the 3rd row of the grid.
Well, and that's the nature of this type of circuit, you know, because it's not all about horsepower. It's not all about sort of anything other than brakes and getting the car to turn and run through the corners as quick as they can.
Tony Karanfilovsky in the Alpha. He needs to finish just to take the Group 3 championship. Philip Showers is the only man who can stop him in the Escort. He turned up today and they completely re-liveried his car in flowers, which was just a little bit different.
Make a bit of flower power for it.
You never know. It might help today. Jim Richards, though, needs to just finish. Here's the scenario. He's 57 points clear of Gavin Bullis. Let's jump aboard with JR. Hey, Jim, it's Aaron Noonan. You really don't need to do too much in this race to seal this championship, though. 3 points is all you need.
Yeah, 3 points. Probably the hardest 3 points you're ever going to earn in your life. But no, it's fine.
Hey, Jimmy, it's DJ here, mate. I've been in that situation. I know what it's like.
But thanks, mate. Thanks for all your support.
No, I'm sure you'll have a good run, mate. The old sprint's going pretty well.
No, it is, mate. No, it's, you know, proved over the season that it's been a great little car. You know, sometimes these things can let you down on the last race, but no, I don't think so. It'll be good.
All the best, Jimmy. We'll be watching the Shannon's Falcon keenly for this final race of the season. When we come back to Sydney Olympic Park, the Touring Car Masters firing alive.
Jimmy, it's a nice pink glove you got there, buddy, too.
Jimmy Richards looking for yet another championship. I've lost count of how many JR's won over the years. John Bowe and Andrew Medicki on the second row. Red light. When it goes out, we go racing. The power of the V8s from the front row of the grid. Watch for the nimble Porsches to come through. Bernie Stack and Greg Keane. But it's all about having a V8. Jimmy Richards leads the way. Bullis second. John Bowe in third. And
it's all about getting a good start on a circuit like this because it's very, very difficult to pass.
And watch 2 further back in the field. Cameron Tilley a little bit slow there in the pace of it. Brad Tilley in the big green Falcon. Steve Mason, they've had some problems with that Camaro in the clutch department. They are coming through the pack. Watch for that big green Falcon. There it is. Car 28 carving its way through the field.
The difference between these guys and the V8 supercar drivers is these guys are paying their own bills. That's why they're more respectful of their vehicles.
Well, for a little while at least.
The Datsun.
We lost Cameron Mason in the Datsun before we got underway on the warm-up lap. So Richards leads, and it's the top 4. It's the 4 cars that are running first, second, third and fourth in the race, first, second, third and fourth in the championship. So it's pretty much a case of a reflection of this season in this corner, in this lap itself.
But it says heaps for Jim Richards because you know damn well that he's going out there to win the race, no matter whether there's 3 points there or nothing. You know, it's just one of those situations. He's a racer that wants to win all the time.
And you've been there and done it. When you go to win a championship, you tend to make mistakes when you don't play your regular game.
Well, exactly. You know, you tend to lose concentration. And if you do that, you know, you could be in the wall because it's not a very forgiving circuit.
In the background, Chris Stillwell's made a good start in the Mustang up to 5th. Cameron Tilley's next, and then Bernie Stack and Leanne Tander in the Wilson Security GT Falcon. But this track, it's got a bit of a mixture of everything. Let's have a look here on the replay. Gavin Bullis trying.
Yeah, very much so, and that's the nature of these guys. But I tell you what, the amount of damage that they don't have is quite significant. I'm amazed at how they seem to get around without too much damage.
This is the section of the track where the V8s really come into their own, but the smaller cars, the Porsches and the like, there's a couple of chicanes, there's a couple of switchback sections where they're strong, but these big long roads here, they've got no chance.
No, they certainly haven't. And these are pretty heavy cars when you consider exactly, you know, what sort of car they are. They're not exactly a lightweight.
John Bowe, 3rd spot, the number 18 Mustang.
The one thing they do have is a lot of power.
Yeah, they do, and probably have more power these days than they did back in the day. Richards leading down at the 5-6 chicane complex, and a little bit more respectful with the curve V8 supercar guys, they don't care. They just smash them.
But all of these guys are very, very competitive people. I know what Bowie's like because he raced with me for 11 years. So, and he's a competitive person.
Toughest 11 years of your life, really.
Oh, well, we matched up pretty well, you know. I was the optimist and he was the pessimist. So.
Oh, well, it evened itself out, really. Here's a good fight. Cameron Tilley in the Pacer, Leanne Tander in the Falcon. Bernie Stack's just behind. Now, he's clinched the Group 2 championship at the Porsche 911. But there are still the Group 1 and the Group 3 categories that are up for grabs today.
And they've got to finish to be able to sort of make enough points to win their championship.
And it sounds easy, doesn't it? But the reality of the situation is there's still 10 laps. Anything could happen. It's a street track. There's concrete walls. There's other competitors. It's not so simple when you put all those things in the mix.
No, it certainly isn't.
Back to the front. Richards getting away. 140.17. That time through. The margin's 1.8 seconds. And the best way to win a championship, win the race.
That's why he goes out there like that. Jimmy's a very competitive person. And here comes Bowie. He's having a go at Bullis.
Oh, close. Not enough.
Bowie thought that mudguard's worth $500. I don't think I'll do that.
And Andrew Mediki's right with him as well.
Well, Andrew just doesn't care.
There's been a few run-ins this year, but it has been really good fun. I reckon my spies tell me that we might see Glenn seated in this category next year in a Falcon, which would be fantastic to really mix it up and get another former V8 champ in this category. Oh, Mediki down the inside. Almost JB in the fence.
JB just outbroke himself a little bit there, I think, and tried to cover his line. Like Bowie's just so, he's harder to pass than a kidney stone normally, but he obviously made a very small mistake.
Oh, Mediki.
No, I think...
really put the nose in.
No, Bowie thought that front door's $2 grand.
It's an expensive sport. Let's have a look again. This is turn 8 that's claimed so many this weekend.
Well, like I said before, Andrew just doesn't care.
This is on board, right in the middle of the pack. Bernie Stack, the Porsche 911. Lovely sound. Great little car in the hands of Jimmy McEwen and so many of those guys in the late 60s, early 70s. They were a contender in touring car racing.
Well, they were very much a contender in touring car racing, and not only that, but on a circuit like this, they really do shine.
Look at this, all over the back of the HQs.
But then the HQ says, see you later, pal.
Can't do much about it.
No.
But watch when we get to turn 1. He will close right back on in. Brad Tilley's trying to get by. You can see the green Falcon in the mirrors.
Look, I tell you what, Leanne Tander, she would have to be the most improved driver in this category this year. She's done a fantastic job and developed the car very well.
New car at the start of the year. They had a few engine problems in Adelaide, but won a race up at Bathurst on Sunday morning before the big race and really has become a front runner in this category. But it's just such a mixture here. You've got Falcon, Mustang, HQ, Falcon, Pacer, Porsche. Fantastic. That's what Touring Car Masters is all about.
Even an Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, he's a bit further back in the pack, though. He's leading the way, Tony Karanfilovsky, 19th overall and leading Group 3 for the small cars.
And bear in mind, these guys haven't raced here before normally. Most of them have never even been at the racetrack. So I think they've done a spectacular job just keeping them off the walls.
Well, Gavin Bullis says that he's been doing PlayStation testing. Seems to be working. He's second in the race. And if he finishes there and Jimmy wins, Gavin will win the round. So a nice way to say goodbye, I guess, to the #1 plate, because Jimmy will take that provided he finishes this race. But great fight here. Chris Stillwell under the massive pressure of Mark King, Brad Tilley, Cameron Tilley. This man, Bernie Stack, in the Porsche. This gives you a really good idea of how it funnels. It becomes wider on the run down to turn 1, and everyone gets a bit greedy because there's more road.
Yeah, there is. And a lot of them do outbrake themselves, and there is a little bit of runoff area where they can actually get to a point where they can save the car rather than ending up in the wall. But let me tell you, PlayStation, it doesn't hurt when you crash.
Doesn't cost you anything. Press reset. Down to the chicane again. Brad Tilley in too deep. Cuts through the chicane, out the other side. Cuts the other one as well.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, well, if you get one, you may as well get a set. There's been a bit of smoke coming from the back of Mark King's HQ, just up in front. Nothing too massive, and it hasn't affected the pace of that car.
No, I don't think so much. It's just a hole.
Should have seen that coming. I walked right into that one, hey?
I'm only joking.
Back with Bernie Stack looking ahead at Cameron Tilley. These two have been fighting in Group 2 for the majority of the season.
And the pacer does have a fair bit of pace. It goes very well indeed.
The name is apt. And he's putting plenty of pressure on Chris Stillwell. And although this category in recent years have moved to, I guess, modernise the cars in a way with a lot of the components, 10 laps around here, plenty of big braking applications. About lap 7, which is where we are, you're going to feel it.
Well, look, 40 years ago, which was the era of these particular vehicles, I can assure you by now that there would only be a quarter of the field left because most of them would have broken down by now.
Turn 13 here, back on the front straight. Just close your eyes, it's different sounds. It's a real mixture. Now, turn 1, Cameron Tilley looking for a move. The inside line's not on, so he'll try the switchback run.
He doesn't mind a bit of sideways movement.
Jimmy Richards leads the way. The margin's 1.7 seconds. Kevin Bullis has just been able to eat a little bit into that. Stillwell in really narrow off the first part of the chicane.
And the Stillwell name's been pretty famous in motor racing for many generations.
Of course, Bib Stillwell, one of the greats of open wheel racing in this country. But back to the front, and Jim Richards, the Shannon's Falcon Sprint. This car that he's run the last few years, we still haven't seen that new project that he's got just yet.
No, that'll be interesting to say the least. There's a few new projects being hatched, and this guy actually has one of them in the way of a javelin, which is coming along very nicely, I believe.
Yeah, I reckon we'll see it in 2011. But Jimmy is on his way. I mean, look at the stats, look at the numbers. This guy's won enough championships. He's had more championships than I've had years. 8 Target Tasmania, 7 Bathursts, 4 Touring Car titles, 3 Nations Cups, 2 Australian Endurance Championships, 2 AMPS Car Series, 2 GTP Championships, an ASCAR and a Carrera Cup.
And he's won in virtually every category he's been in. So he really is, and still does, love his motor racing.
Gavin Bullis here, fighting hard in second spot.
Actually, I want to ask Jimmy what's with these pink gloves.
They go fast.
Obviously today they do.
It's been a really great year for Touring Car Masters with the way that the category has stepped up. The fields have been strong. They've been very diverse in their mix of cars and level of drivers. We're seeing, you know, the legends like Jimmy Richards and John Bowe. We can get a Glenn Seaton in there and a few other guys. I guess it becomes motor racing's version of the senior tour in golf and tennis and the like.
It's a geriatric version of V8 Supercars.
Your words, not mine. Back with Bernie Stack. The Porsche is 10th overall. 3rd in Group 2. The Greg King similar car is right behind him as well. Steve Mason from the back of the grid's up to 13th in the Camaro. Rear engine 911 Porsche. Cameron Tilley a little sideways. Well, that's a great corner turn, 8. It is one of the toughest corners I think I've seen on a street track anywhere in a long time.
It is pretty tough. I think the whole track's pretty tough, to be quite honest. As you can see by the lock-up marks coming into this particular corner.
We'll have a look at the bumps here on the run-up past the Novotel, which is to our left, the driver's right. You kind of have to go up and down, up and down, up and down before you even get to the corner. There's Steve Mason, the Camaro, carving its way through the field. Matt O'Brien in the HQ, right with him as well. So, on our way home, lap 9 of 10 in this last race of the championship. It's been an 8-round season where the drivers all count their best 7-round scores. And bigger and better things await for this category in 2011.
And bear in mind, Jimmy Richards didn't compete in Launceston in Tasmania because he was away doing another function, but still, he leads the championship.
Yeah, so the system really worked for him. He was able to drop that as his worst round, a big fat 0 from Simmons Plains, but he's had such a strong year in all the other rounds he's contested. Chris Stillwell here, covering that line again, really narrow into the chicane, and it's killing him on the exit, but Cameron Tilley's not close enough to get the job done.
Because he hasn't got the straight line speed, I don't think, of the V8.
This is where they all came undone yesterday. Look at the marks on the concrete. The Touring Car Masters boys, though, dry road to play with at the moment. Our leaders are on to their final lap.
I think it'll be a sigh of relief when they get through this particular event, because the rain hasn't affected them at all through this particular race. But boy, these things in the wet would be a lot of fun to drive too, by the look of it.
Hey, speaking about sighs of relief, you reckon you're going to have a pretty big one at the end of today?
I'm going to have a couple of good Jim Beams, I'll tell you that.
It will be a big day to wrap up a big year of V8 racing, but Jimmy Richards is on his way home, the final lap. And he's held the margin. Gavin Bullis has been keeping that margin at 1.8 seconds, but it was that opening lap, that first little blitz that Jimmy gave the field that is giving him the margin.
Absolutely. As I say, it's so important to get off the line well here and have track position. And Jimmy did a great job off the line and shut out Bullis into turn one.
And even though these cars are all obviously V8s, Jimmy's car is a little lighter. It runs a smaller engine, so it's a bit more suited, I guess, to this track.
Well, it is pretty much suited because it's kinder to its tyres and brakes. So, and they're the two things you need, you know, to sort of have the best of round here is good brakes and keep your rubber, so it's constant.
On his way around,
he's cruising
the railway station.
He's hardly even puffing.
He always makes it look so economical in the way he drives a race car. The crowd's warming up to this one. He is still going strong, Jimmy Richards. At 63 years of age, he's going to take another championship, the final turn for 2010. And Jim Richards takes the Touring Car Masters Championship presented by Autobahn.
A race win, a lap record, and a championship all in one hit.
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
Too true.
So Richards takes the race. Bullis will win the round. Hey, Jim, those 3 points, you got a bit more than just 3 to seal the deal. Well done.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, no, listen, my tyres go away as much as the big cars, so it's a matter of just getting a bit of a break at the start and then just looking after the tyres and keeping an eye on the mirror. But I couldn't have gone any faster, I can tell you.
Oh, Jimmy, come on. You're giving me... I think, what's with the pink gloves, buddy?
They're red gloves. They stand out. They can see my really efficient handwork.
Hey, just quickly, Jimmy, is this the last race for the sprint? Will we see the javelin next year?
No. We'll have the javelin and the sprint out, and depending on how it all goes, we'll drive whichever's the best car.
Gee, nothing like a team, is it?
No, it's good to own both your cars, and you can drive whatever you like.
Great job, Jimmy. Congratulations,
well
Touring Car Masters champ for 2010.
Guys.
He takes the final race of the year. He takes the championship. This was on the run home with Mark King, and it was a barbecue in the HQ, and it was smoking earlier on, and now it's flaming as well. So not the way to finish a season, and he hasn't made it around.
That's what you call a hot holding.
Well, yeah, that's a plug from you. That's pretty good. Richards wins from Bullis, Madecki and Bout. Leanne Tander is 5th. Cameron Tilley in 7th takes out Group 2. Greg Keane and Gary O'Brien round out the top 10.